Was good, you too. It's your boy Spicy Got Sauce, and today I'm coming at y'all with another reaction video. Now in this video we got terrible teen twins or victims once again. This is about Bailey Sarian. This is the second part. It was some crazy stuff going on with the two daughters and how they were constantly abusing their mother Nikki and kept beating her up. And Nikki didn't do anything about it. Like, she finally went to court after a certain point, but like she just kept letting them come back in the house. We gonna get into this second part of the video. If you guys are new, make sure to sub to the YouTube channel, y'all. I bring nothing but lit content. If you want to be rocking with your boy, make sure to follow me on my social medias. Let's get right into it.
Already hate your mom and stuff, and then she makes you go to a new school, a high school. They're not happy.
So they just, the daughters, Jasmine, and I need to find out. Oh, Jas and Tas. Jas and Tas, okay. They just went to a new school. So they probably went to a new school because they went to live. I don't know if they still live with their mother right now or they live with their grandparents. I'm gonna keep listening.
It's gonna be bad. This is gonna be real bad. But Nikki's trying. She's just trying, you know? She's still,
Nikki's, she's still got custody of Jas and Tas. So
trying. But if you've been a teenager before, which I think you probably have been, you know that this is not going to be a good thing. And sure enough, it didn't take long because like a week after moving in, police were called out to the house twice, 2 different times. The whole family gets together to have like a welcome home party for the girls. It didn't go so well, because Jas became very upset, very violent. She was like throwing food. She was shoving her aunt into the wall.
This how she looked like? Dog, she looked like a demon. She looked like she from Chirac.
She was like throwing food. She was shoving her aunt into the wall. She was just becoming very aggressive at this welcome home party. It's not funny. I'm laughing because it's just... she's trying. She's really trying, Nikki. She's like, welcome home. And the girls are violent. They are mean. So, I mean, I think it's really easy to see both sides. You know, like, Nikki's trying to be welcoming and have the kids have this party and know that, like, everyone's there for them. But at the same time, the girls don't want to be there. They're angry. This wasn't their home. I'm not saying they have a right to get violent or anything, but I'm sure you're mature enough to understand what I am saying, which is you can see both sides. They didn't want to be there, okay? They just were angry. And it feels like every time Nikki was trying to do something, it just made the situation worse. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do at that point? Now, remember, they're all living at Robert's house. The husband, he's literally never there, and he was on the road. He was gone. So it's just...
that nigga living his best life, bro.
Girls
that
and
nigga going crazy.
Their mom in the house, and tensions are very high. So... this leads us to January 13th, 2010. This is like just a little over a week since the girls were forced to move back in with their mother. Now, I guess this day, there was a police officer in the neighborhood patrolling the area, just driving up and...
they was going to start doing that just because they were called there multiple times.
Down the streets, right?
That's why when that happens, bro, it's a good idea to move. When you get called too many times, is because they gonna start patrolling in your area.
And this police officer was driving past the girl's home. Out comes running Tas. She comes out running from the house that she and her sister had just come home from school, and when they walked in, they saw all this blood, and they discovered their mother dead.
What? Oh, bro, that's crazy. Her face is perfect for the situation.
So, yes, sad. Nikki is dead. Poor woman. She was literally just trying to make shit work, you know? Fuck. For good reason, this deputy's like, I should probably go inside. So he goes into the house. He follows Tas. And he said, like on the record, that this house was an absolute horror show. There was tons of blood everywhere. And then he finds Nikki's dead body in the master bathtub. And not only that,
But how does that happen though? Like, somebody had to have broken in there. We gonna keep watching.
She had been stabbed like around 80 times. And there was like an obvious sign that there was a struggle, and she was fighting hard. She was fighting her.
Nah, bro. You know what I feel like? Whoever killed her must have been closely connected to her, or like closely in contact with her.
Hard for her life. But when I saw 80 times, I was like, holy, like, that's insanity. Insanity. So obviously the girls were taken down to the police station for questioning. And when they were...
But I'm gonna be honest though. Wait, now that I think about it, bro, why do I feel like it was Jas and Tas who did it? Because they used to constantly beat up their mom. I feel like it's gonna progress and get worse. I feel like they had their breaking point because they really didn't want to follow whatever she was laying down as the rules, bro. I think they lost it one day and just planned to kill her, bro. That's what I think happened, bro.
There, they were questioned together. They said that morning that they had woke up a little late and they had missed their school bus.
They murdered. Yeah, no, they lying. I woke up a little late, missed my school bus. You know dang well they killed her. You know dang
So
well.
they ended up walking to school that day. They made it to school on time. They went to all of their classes. And then on the way home, they took the bus. That's when they walked in the door and they found, or they saw, like, the whole scene, all the blood and everything. The twins, they had claimed that they had no idea what happened. And when they were being questioned, I mean, they were hysterical, bawling, crying, really just very upset. And even in some interviews I saw, like, police officers, they were very sad, you know? So they believed their story for a second. But one thing that was very peculiar, the girls...
Yeah, that is an easy story to believe. Like, that sounds like something that really makes sense, especially if the school is not that far. So, honestly, but they probably not going to get away with it, just off of the blood. Like, if you stab somebody 80 times, there's a good chance. I mean, you're probably not going to be bleeding, but it's a good chance that your DNA is somewhere. So.
The whole time they were being questioned, they were wearing mittens. You know, mittens. And it was an interesting observation. It was like this police officer was watching his interview, and he said, like, he just noticed that when the girls came in, most people take off their gloves or mittens, right? And you make yourself comfortable. But the whole time they were being questioned, they had on the mittens, and they were crying and stuff. So he kind of leans in and asks the girls, like, can you take off your mittens? I like the word mittens. Anyways, that's not the point. So they were like, okay, you know, just bawling. Takes them off, shows the officer their hands because, you know, the crime scene was brutal. And there were, like, defensive marks on Nikki. So there would definitely be marks on whoever did it. There would be marks on their body for sure. So he looks at their hands and sees, like, there's some scratches and stuff. And their explanation is that the two of them, the two sisters, they got into a fight with each other. They were just messing around, though. No. So that's what those were from. But noted, you know? So the twins, they swore up and down that they really had no idea what happened. Okay, they were crying. They were really visibly upset. Some people said that they saw the girls like holding each other like little babies.
Well, that's because there's, number one, I feel like they trying to fake. Number two, they probably scared because they know they messed up. They got caught. They gonna get a lot of time. So.
And cooing to each other while they were at the station. And it looked like these girls were visibly, like, very traumatized. This is a side note, but, you know, a lot of murders that involve stabbing, and I'm talking about, like, crazy amounts of stabbing or just crazy amounts of violence.
Before she keeps going, I was going to say one thing. I feel like murderers are very smart because, like, I'm not saying, like, I like murderers or anything like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is because most murderers, they have done it before. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just. Let's keep going, bro. I'm just.
It usually indicates that it was a crime of passion. That's like the phrase they use, crime of passion. Police officers know that, like, this isn't going to be a typical, break-in, random person breaks into the house, or a robbery gone wrong or something like that.
It had to be them.
It's also not going to be a premeditated murder for hire or anything like that, because Nikki being stabbed over 80 times was what could be called overkill.
This is a true story.
Being that you're just so filled, or whoever, the killer, so filled with rage and hate that it's not even about killing them. It's just about killing them as much as you can, because in that moment you just hate them so much. That's crime of passion. So with 80 stab wounds, police officers knew it was somebody close to her. So of course police officers are going to look at whoever is closest to Nikki, besides the girls. Remember, Nikki had Robert. That was like her main man. But Robert was...
Yeah, he was always out and about all the time. He don't even really know what's going on for real. And it's got to be them two. They both got scratches on their hand, and I got a Band-Aid on. That's kind of crazy how I got a scratch on my hand. But it's like, it's crazy, bro. They both got scratches on their hands, and they've beaten her mom before multiple times. So, bro, come on. It's too
he was
obvious,
working.
bro.
He was like in a different state completely, so they knew that it wasn't him. He had a pretty solid alibi. So they looked at another one of Nikki's boyfriends. It was a man by the name of Joe Carter. Joe worked in the barber shop next to Nikki's salon, and according to the twins, Nikki and Joe had gotten into a really big argument over the phone the night before. So police are thinking, like maybe he kept the fight going and ended up coming and killing Nikki the next day. And according to the twins, the fight the night before ended with the two of them breaking up. Oh. So it seems like Joe could be...
Okay. What I'm thinking now is it could have been Joe, because he could have been very upset about the breakup. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like in a day's time, he'd really get that upset before actually trying to kill Nikki. You know what I'm saying? It was just like a day after. I mean, a lot of things happen in one day. There's a lot of emotions that come and go in one day, especially with a relationship. But, this is what I think could have happened. Joe could have been in the house stabbing Nikki, and then the two sisters were trying to fight off. That could have been what happened.
Like a pretty good bet. The police questioned Joe, and he was really upset. I mean, even more upset that the police officers came into his place of work, tell him that his girlfriend was murdered. Yeah, he was just upset. Police asked Joe, like, can we ask you some questions? Can you come down to the office, whatever? And he cooperated 100%. He let the detectives and whatnot look on his body to see if there was any injuries, because like I said, Nikki's death indicated that there was indeed a pretty intense struggle. So they look him up and down, and they see that, like, he's good. Nothing on him. He also let them take his DNA, and he also took a polygraph test, which he passed. So yeah, both Joe and Robert were completely cleared of the murder. Joe had nothing to connect him to the murder, and Robert was literally in a different state. So, wonder who it is. Maybe it's those violent children that, constantly were calling.
Honestly, after you just said that like he didn't have any injuries, and he wasn't he got his DNA taken, and he was clean. And the sisters are the only one with scratch marks on their hands. They got a history of doing violent things to their mother. It's gotta be them.
The 911, because they were beating their mom. I don't know. Just an idea. So, of course, The only two that are really left that were close to her and have had this much hate towards her were the twins. So investigators started to look even closer at them. The police got video footage from a Shell station, a gas station, that was like along the route from Robert's house to the twins' new school, where they claimed to have made it on time. They said that they had missed the bus and ended up walking to school that day. But the video footage determined that was a lie. So
They are cooked.
on the video footage from the gas station, they can be seen walking by at around 10:15 in the morning, and then a car drives up, and there are shadows going on in this car. I guess it was like a Dodge Avenger, in case you're wondering, I don't know. And then a man appears to give them a ride to school, because about 3 minutes later, after the gas station footage, there is footage of the girls arriving at their high school in that Dodge Avenger, and that's when they walk in. So they got a ride from someone. I don't know if it was a friend or a stranger or a family member. No one said anything, and they never mentioned it. But what matters is that the